Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I'm going to be debuting a new series for this channel in which I'm going to be examining certain techniques and abilities that exist in anime and beyond. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out. One of my favorite aspects of anime, comics, and various forms of media has to do with people who possess incredible superhuman abilities. I've often spent much of my time wondering what it would be like if I had these abilities, what their applications are, and just how far those abilities could be taken. That's what this series is going to be all about. So for the first episode of this series, I'm going to be taking a look at the Dragon Ball franchise, and one of its most iconic abilities, the Kaioken. Now this video is going to be divided into 3 sections. First will be the history of the technique. Next, I'll be discussing its applications thus far. And after that, I'm going to be discussing exactly how far this ability can be taken. Now the Kaioken was created by Kaio-sama, otherwise known as King Kai in the Northern Lord of Worlds. Being a master martial artist, King Kai likely created this technique to amplify his own power. However, as we know, he was never able to master this ability. Over the thousands of years that he was in his position, King Kai took on students, one of which was King Yema, the divine being who judges the dead. However, it wasn't until Goku arrived on his mission to defeat the Saiyans that King Kai was able to successfully pass this ability on to another fighter. As in addition to becoming more powerful and learning to use the Spirit Bomb, Goku was able to learn and use the Kaioken technique. After Goku was revived, this ability served him well in his fight against the Saiyans, allowing him to take out Nappa and fight on par with the stronger Saiyan Vegeta. Although unfortunately, it wasn't able to secure the victory for Goku. During the next arc, after Goku had healed up from his fight against the Saiyans, he made his way to planet Namek. During the trip, he trained his body under intense gravity, which not only made him more powerful, but able to use even higher degrees of the Kaioken with much less strain on his body. Goku then used the Kaioken to take out the weaker members of the Ginyu Force, and then gain an advantage over Captain Ginyu, as well as allowing him to fare significantly better against Final Form Frieza than his friends had. However, again, the Kaioken would not allow Goku to secure the victory. Then, after Goku achieved the Super Saiyan form, the move all but disappeared from history. That was the case until Dragon Ball Super, where Goku once again used this ability against the legendary assassin Hit during the Tournament of Destroyers. However, this was no ordinary Kaioken, but rather Goku used the ability on top of his Super Saiyan Blue transformation, allowing him to far exceed his limits so that he could fight Hit. Although the fight eventually ended in a sort of draw as Goku jumped out of the ring and eliminated himself. Now, as we found out after this fight, Goku had contracted an illness known as Delayed Energy Onset Disorder, which made it difficult for him to control his ki. This could only happen if he used his ki recklessly, and thus meant Goku could not use the Kaioken whenever he wanted to. However, Goku would use this ability once more in the next arc in the fight against Merge Zamasu, temporarily knocking him down and breaking his halo. However, the most extensive use of the technique that we would see in Dragon Ball Super came during the final arc, and more specifically in the Tournament of Power, as Goku used his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken against Jiren, even amping it up to 20 times, but to no avail. He would also use it against Kefla, but was again outmatched. Then, after receiving multiple power boosts, he would use the move again against Jiren while teaming with Vegeta, while Vegeta was using his brand new Super Saiyan Blue Evolution form. However, once again the Kaioken fell short, as it would not allow Goku to defeat his enemy, but rather Goku would need to use the higher ability of Ultra Instinct to get the job done. And with that, this has been the history thus far of the Kaioken technique in Dragon Ball. Now, the ability has been used in movies such as Cooler's Revenge and Lord Slug, as well as in other spin-off stories such as Dragon Ball Heroes, but none of these are a part of the main continuity, and as a result, I've chosen to not include them in this video. Now, there could come a time in the future where Dragon Ball pulls a Crisis on Infinite Earths, and every storyline and spin-off comes together in some massive event, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. it. Now let's get into the applications of the technique. The regular Kaioken multiplies the user's base power by 2 times, whereas the Kaioken times 5, times 10, and times 20 multiply accordingly. Now there is some confusion over the normal Kaioken, as Goku said both Kaioken and Kaioken times 2 while facing Vegeta. However, I think this was simply a narrative choice, which was made by Toriyama because he was planning to have Goku use the Kaioken times 3 and times 4, so he had to establish what the previous number was with the audience. However, as we saw in those instances, the Kaioken has a severe drawback, that being that it damages your body while using it. That's why Goku didn't simply use Kaioken times 10 against Vegeta and one-shot him, because doing it at that point no doubt would have killed him. I can just imagine him exploding the second he yells it. That would have been a pretty awkward way to end the arc. However, as Goku trained to increase his base power, he was also able to increase the multiplier that his body can handle, and additionally have the Kaioken do minimal to no damage with lower multipliers. This is how Goku was able to use the Kaioken times 10 and times 20 against Frieza. However, it was at that point that Goku achieved the Super Saiyan transformation, which was a 50 times multiplier of his base form. This form was also significantly less stressful on Goku's body, which is likely why Goku seemed to have abandoned using the Kaioken and trying to increase its multiplier after this point. He instead chose to focus on increasing his base power and achieving further Super Saiyan forms. Although for the longest time, the question of why didn't Goku use his Kaioken on top of his Super Saiyan forms was questioned by fans, as aside from his filler fight against Pikkon in the Otherworld tournament, this was never something that Goku did. However, Dragon Ball Super actually gave audiences an answer. That answer being that Goku's Super Saiyan was too unstable and taxing on his body to use with this technique, and it would be like throwing his life away. That's why Super Saiyan Blue, which focused on a calm mind and ki control, was capable of using it. However, aside from Goku, we never see anyone else use the Kaioken in Dragon Ball. But what would happen if others did have access to this ability? Well, that leads into the final section of this video, which is potential applications. Now, is there a cap or limit to how high the Kaioken can multiply the user's power? Or perhaps is it unlimited? While I do think it's possible that Goku could use a much higher multiplier of the technique by now, I don't think that it would really be beneficial for him to do so, as once again increasing the multiplier could bring even more significant damage to his own body. Plus, the multipliers for Goku's further forms are so great that it basically becomes an unreasonable trade-off. With that being said, what if someone other than Goku used this ability? In the case of the other Z fighters, they have demonstrated through their own massive leaps in power throughout the franchise that they certainly have enough skill to utilize the move. So who among them would benefit the most from this? Well, certainly we could say that Vegeta would do well with this move. After all, it seems like Goku always finds a way to surpass him, and the Kaioken had allowed Goku to keep the edge over him ever since the Tournament of Destroyers, at least until he learned Ultra Instinct, so learning this ability could allow Vegeta to stay on par. Another Saiyan who could benefit greatly is Gohan, as he's demonstrated that time and time again his hidden power and massive potential can allow him to reach heights on par with or even greater than his father's. Despite not having Super Saiyan Blue, Gohan does have his ultimate state, which allows him to tap into his full power without needing a Super Saiyan transformation, so this would seem ideal for Gohan to use and bring himself back to relevancy. However, the fighter that I think would be the best candidate to use this move would have to be Piccolo. Given Piccolo's Namekian physiology, he would likely be able to withstand greater levels of the Kaioken than his other comrades. His regeneration would no doubt be able to let his body spring back and endure higher levels that would seriously injure or kill his friends. And unlike the Saiyans, Piccolo doesn't have any further forms which greatly increase his strength, speed, and energy output. He has his giant form, which he used against Goku during the 23rd tournament, but it's more of a liability than an asset. So like Gohan, this would help him to reach a relevant level once again. The same could be said for Buu, who could potentially raise the multiplier even higher than Piccolo, although it's questionable if he would grasp the concept as easily as the others. After all, the guy misspelled his own name on a test. However, in the case of the humans, what if these fighters could evolve the Kaioken to do more than power up their bodies? For example, what if Tien used the Kaioken to power up his Tri-Beam? Instead of using it to fight hand-to-hand, he could instead use it to increase the damage of his powerful move by many times. Considering that he would be focusing it entirely on his attack rather than his own body, he could potentially increase the multiplier far beyond 20 or 50 times. If he could have done this against Cell, then I'm not so sure that Cell would have come out of that crater at all. He might have just been splattered like a bug on the windshield. Now just imagine if Piccolo used this move to amplify his Makanko Sappo. The move is already a threat to stronger foes, but imagine if Piccolo could multiply it 10 times or hundreds of times its normal levels. He might even be able to drill through Jiren or the new Broly at that point, and it's possible that he could even increase the rate by which he gathers ki into his fingers, letting him create a rapid-fire version of the move, much like the Shin Kikoho or Neo Tri-Beam. And just imagine if Krillin uses it to power up his Destructo Disc. It would be a lot harder to dodge them when they're bigger than the ships from Independence Day. He might even be able to amplify the power of the Solar Flare to where it just vaporizes his opponents like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2. But unfortunately, I doubt that he could use it to accelerate the growth of his nose. However, if he did, that would leave no one left to defeat Bacterion, and the world as we know it would be doomed. So in this video, I've demonstrated the current capabilities of the Kaioken technique, as well as possible future applications. This is a powerful ability which may have not been able to secure the win in the past, but could help other fighters to be on par with Goku, or stand a chance at victory against more powerful opponents, so long as there's a logical explanation behind it, rather than Krillin just showing up one day and yelling, "Kaioken times 100!" or something like that. So what do you guys think about this topic? Also, what do you guys think about this new series, and do you have any other abilities or techniques you'd like me to discuss? Let me know down below. Also, if you're new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so that you can see all of my videos right away when they come out. And if you like this video, then make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.